I do want to address what's going on in the news with Candace Owens. As many of you know, she is been hit with a fat lawsuit. And I think at the beginning, I will tell you honestly, I was not really 100% following everything that was going on with the Macron. There's a few different issues that I had during this whole entire thing. Apart from the fact that the lady's just crazy anti-Semitic and outside of her mind, and she's possessed by demons, and she's gonna have to Harlem shake them demons out of her. The truth of the matter is this: is that for those of you who have been following along and going with Candace Owens with all of this, the woman has a track record of being a liar. I think it was one of the influencers. I shared this video a long time ago on a podcast that happened previously, where I want to say is What Do You Meme, who's a Christian influencer, actually called her out in her video that her documentary that she did on Black Lives Matter, where Candace showed a specific testimony inside of the courtroom concerning George Floyd and obviously, the cop who killed him. And the discussion was around whether or not the knee was on the neck or on the head or the shoulder of the individual, right? What Candace put inside of her documentary, and you have to go see this actually, what she put inside of her documentary was only she cut the testimony up until where it sounded as if it was emphatically that the knee was on the shoulder and not on the neck of George Floyd. And I don't care where you stand on the actual issue because that's irrelevant for me. I'm against Black Lives Matter, and I do think George Floyd was not a good human being and nothing to write home about. I'm just being honest about it. I know he was a brother, but he was a brother that was doing things he shouldn't have been doing. Doesn't mean he deserved to die in that type of way, but he probably definitely didn't deserve to be out in a free society according to his track record. But apart from that, just going back to how this individual died and the way that it was reported from Candace Owens, this What Do You Mean page or whatever, he played the whole entire clip. And what actually came out was the fact that the knee was on the neck until the police arrived and he moved it from the neck to the shoulder.
Take a look at this clip from her documentary.
Would you agree that from the perspective of Officer King's body camera, it appears that Officer Chauvin's knee was more on Mr. Floyd's shoulder blade?
Yes.
So Candace tried to argue that Chauvin's knee was not on Floyd's neck, but on his shoulder blade. However, she didn't include the rest of the cross-examination, which revealed a much different story.
At that moment in time, that the knee of the defendant was more towards the shoulder blade, is that right?
That is correct.
That was at a time where the ambulance had already arrived?
Yes.
Very shortly before they loaded Mr. Floyd onto the gurney?
That is correct.
And so the knee of the defendant was on Mr. Floyd's neck up until the time you just pointed out?
Yes. When I viewed that video portion, that is the first time that I'd seen the knee of the defendant on the shoulder blade area.
There was a reason why Candace didn't put that in there. So I'm talking about, you have a woman who has a track record of lying. There's been many things on this investigation that she started saying that she felt was emphatically true and she was going to get to the bottom of it. And then for some reason, they just never came up again. And the reason why that probably happened is because there are reports coming out that they sent her every single piece of evidence that she wanted to know. Pictures right now are surfacing on the internet. Other influencers are showing them of Macron as a little girl, or Bridget, whatever her last name was at the time, showing her as a little girl, showing her with her children, or in her early years. And they said that this evidence was given to Candace and she ignored it. And she continued to perpetuate the story and the narrative that she was actually. I'm just saying this is what is allegedly happening here. So it looks like she may be in some trouble, which rightfully so. Again, I will say it for every single one of you. The good book says, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. I will tell you very I hope it doesn't happen, but it looked like this is where we're headed, at least with Mrs. Owens. She will end up in the museum of the many anti-Semites who came from yesteryear and many generations before. Those who felt some way or attempted, and in her case, because of her reach that she has, she's inciting violence, and she is putting out vile, horrible things that are being used as fuel against not only the state of Israel, if it was only that, but Jewish people everywhere. So no doubt about it, for me, she's got a place in hell without a bed. So we'll watch and see what happens. Whether Mrs. Macron is a man or not a man, if she would have at least spent some time on the fact that, pedophile maybe, you know what I'm saying? But she didn't. She wanted to go at this, and it looks like from what's going on here that her days are numbered, and we'll see what happens in court. But this is just a lesson for all. Like I said, this is all alleged. You should know that if you continue to perpetuate, and it's just showing something about this woman's character, how much she doesn't care, how she's doing everything she's doing from clout and she can't be trusted, the lack of loyalty that she's shown to, the many Jews who have helped her career. Her career, apart from the boost that she got from Donald Trump, which is another thing I even have to talk about. This call that she said that took place with Donald Trump, like that goes to show the lack of loyalty and the lack of, at least the narcissism of the person to publicize a private conversation between yourself and the president of the United States, to publicize that, and to talk about a private conversation that took place between you and him, and to put it on public air and public display for what? Nothing other than your own self-aggrandizement. You want to show the world that, you're getting calls and you're stopping peace between Russia and Ukraine. And you guys still listening to her. I unfortunately, I'm going to tell you, sooner or later, you've seen it. What else is interesting right now in the light of her anti-Semitism and her Jew hate and the disgusting things that's coming out of her mouth, a very, very close friend and business partner of hers, who I actually happen to be a friend with, Officer Tatum, would seem to be, I don't know. I'm just looking at this footage and I'm telling you, it seems to be that he is going directly against her. Now, for those who don't know, who have not, heard my previous podcast on Candace Owens, where I actually discussed the reason why she came to her beliefs, her converting to Catholicism, and not just Catholicism, it's the traditionalism, SSPX ideologies that she later on took on after she converted, which they hold that the Second Vatican Council is not to be accepted, and that the Pope after Pope Pius XII is no longer accepted. So because she went the traditionalist route, she has these beliefs. Officer Tatum, on the other hand, is what you would say a righteous Gentile, in the sense that he is, not only is he a Christian, but from my understanding, he is a Unitarian. But not only is he a Unitarian, he is a firm Bible believer. And it would seem to be, and I don't want to put no riffs where there ain't no riffs. I don't know if he's going to come out and say something. I don't know if he's going to tell me personally. Whatever the case is, maybe they're cool. But I'm just telling you, based on what she said and looking at these videos juxtaposed right next to each other, it would appear to be that he's answering her without saying it. Check it out.
I would literally rather saw off my own foot than support Israel ever again, by the way. Never supporting that demonic nation ever again. That's like, I am so off that train. It's crazy. Like I've learned way too much. Like you delivered in every way that you are supposed to deliver by just going full mask down.
It just sparks me every time. What is it that got people going loony about Israel? A little country that's the size of New Jersey got people losing their entire mind and willing to forego every integral thought that they've ever had, willing to turn on everything they ever believed to find a way to hate this little bitty state of people. I just don't get it. And it makes me believe it's spiritual. We look at the war in Gaza. No one would bat an eye if a militant terrorist group came to America and did what they did in Israel. And we came down and whooped the socks off of them. Literally, the world after 9/11, we went into a 20-year war, killing hundreds of thousands of civilian people. And you know what? I hate that they had to die. But when you come in our country and kill our innocent citizens, I don't know what to tell you, bruh. That's on you.
Okay, as I said, I don't really know what's going on, if there's a real rift in that relationship or not. It appears to me that eventually there may be. I mean, just at some point, and I know this, and I will say it to B. Tatum directly also. I have a lot of friends that I love dearly. And if you're one of my friends from my childhood, I want you to hear this. There was a very, very short list of people that reached out to me after October 7th. A very, very short list of people that I grew up with. People that I would have called my brothers or my sisters, cousins, family, who I have seen that from a social standpoint, they have decided to side with the other side. Even on that short list of people that did reach out to me. I'm from Seattle, so it's as left as you could go geographically and politically, right? Even from the short list of people that actually did reach out to me, they hold the opposite opinion. They probably pro-Hamas, pro all this other nonsense. However, they still reached out to me because the love was real. Now, that doesn't mean that we talk every day. Doesn't mean that we are going to be best friends. Because what I stand on, the principle of what I stand on and why I stand on it is because of my belief in God. Because of my belief in the Torah, the Bible, the Word of God, the living Word of God. That without a shadow of a doubt speaks with so much love, admiration, speaks about the rejuvenation. Even in God's rebuke of the nation, you will not find a book of prophecy that does not end with hope and with promise and restoration. That same God, my allegiance is to that God before it is to my friends. And so the ones who did not reach out to me, I don't know if we consider ourselves friends today. I don't know if we can consider ourselves that. And that's just me honestly speaking. So in this particular instance, talking about this situation is I think a point comes where it's high and by, and maybe they're already at that point. But once a person has taken a stance against God, has made themselves an enemy against God, we don't have that much to share. We don't have that much in common. And we don't have what to talk about. So I don't know where this stands between the two, but it definitely seems as if there is a reply to some of the rigorous nonsense that's been coming out of her mouth. I just want to let you know that we have launched Nissim Black Store. All you have to do is go online, order yourself one of these amazing mugs, God is King, with a matching t-shirt. We have a whole plethora of different shirts that are all about representing God wherever you go. As believers in the one true God of Israel, it is our duty not to hide, not to back down, not to shy away from expressing our faith wherever it is that we go. If you want to go and walk righteously before your God with a nice t-shirt, with a nice sweater, with a mug that's reminding us constantly that God is here with us, go to nissimblack.store and make sure you get yourself some merch. It really helps support this channel and everything that we're doing and everything that we plan to do. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. I thank you all for all of your support. So wait, if you like what you just saw, click this one right here. And if you'd rather hear the full episode, you could just click right here. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when any new episodes of the podcast is released, you will be amongst the first to know.